It is one thing to be thoughtful. It is another thing to leave no doubt. That is a saying you may have heard before, but it's a saying that I want to remind you about because every single time a WNBA player answers questions about the WNBA, about the impact of certain players, about collective bargaining, about anything you can think of that actually requires using actual brain cells, you find out that these women are either lying or they're just dumber than rocks. I've been making this statement lately saying being dumber by choice. And even players are falling into this dumber by choice because I cannot possibly fathom or imagine that they're this dumb. But yet Napheesa Collier opens her mouth again just a few weeks after she opened her mouth on a CBS podcast that I did a review on. And she comes up with even more ridiculous crap. It's I actually liked Napheesa Collier, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm starting to really dislike her because at least with other players, they say it with their chest. You know how they feel. There's no pussyfooting around. So when you look at someone like a Dejanay Carrington, you look at a Cheryl Swoops, who's not in the league anymore, but obviously has spoken a lot about a lot. You look at even the comments from Asia Wilson, where she, blood boils her blood, and just different snide commentary made by players when they're asked about Caitlin Clark, asked about league impact, asked about these things. They say it with their chests typically. Napheesa Collier tries to be the soft-spoken, unassuming, sweet, nice person. But in reality, she might be the worst of them all. She might actually be the worst because the way she's operating right about now and the things that she is saying, either she's dumb as rocks or she can't stand Caitlin Clark either. It's just that simple. You pick the one that you decide her to be, but there is a certain dumb component that I'm going to talk about. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant, powered by Come On Out the podcast. We talk facts or feelings. This is Her Game, Her Way, women's basketball. I'm trying to, as you know, name the women's one thing. It's all falling under Rudy's Rant. I'm ranting. That's what I do. But I'm trying to separate football, men's basketball, baseball, all that stuff. Let's talk about this. She was on First Take this morning. You've probably seen some videos from other people. I saw it this morning when it happened. I didn't have time to do a video. And you know how I roll. I usually like to wait a little bit and then I do it later. Because as normal, I record. It is 12:30 at night. I have a day job and I can't record at 1:00 in the afternoon typically. So because I take a lot of time in putting this stuff together. She's on First Take, and I haven't seen the full interview. I've seen clips. There was one question that I saw Stephen A. Smith ask that I'm gonna give him kudos for. But let's show you the video. You let me know your thought. We'll play the video, and I'll probably jump in during the video, and then give my final comments. Because I don't think I can play 7 minutes of this thing without commenting. It's not easy to do.
Us. Hello, hello.
Hello,
right.
how you doing?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
All right.
Let's get right
Thanks for joining us.
All right, let's get right into the devastating news. Napheesa, what was your reaction to Juju and obviously USC and her torn ACL?
I mean, it's just so heartbreaking, honestly. For anyone to get an injury, you never want to see that, but especially at this time of the year when she's obviously so critical to her team as well. It's really heartbreaking. So definitely my thoughts are with her and her family at this time, because, I know she's going to come back better than ever, but the timing is definitely, it sucks.
And Napheesa, fantasize this for me. If Juju never gets hurt, what did you see her?
By the way, I will comment again on the Juju thing. The Juju injury is a tragedy for women's basketball, and I'm going to go a little deeper on that tomorrow when I go live about how bad this is for women's basketball. It's obviously very bad for her, but what it's doing now to the sport, it's utterly devastating for the sport. It's utterly devastating. But I'll go into that tomorrow night on the live. I am going live 9:30 p.m. tomorrow night. So, well, tonight, Wednesday night, because I did cancel tonight due to the fact that I went to the Miami Heat Golden State game.
Are doing in this NCAA tournament, and what did you see USC doing?
Well, they were supposed to play UConn next round, so hopefully not going much farther past that.
No, they weren't supposed to play UConn next round. They actually play Oklahoma. No, they don't play Oklahoma. They play Kansas State next round. UConn plays Oklahoma, and if both teams were to have won, then they would have met in the Elite Eight. So Napheesa Collier doesn't even know when her team is playing. Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a great game, though. So, but I mean,
Did they know that she went to UConn, by the way? That's a stupid question. That's a stupid question. This started off like shit, in my opinion. First off, I'm not starting off with nothing about Juju Watkins. You're interviewing Napheesa Collier. You're bringing her on there because you're trying to talk about women, the WNBA. Then you move into college women's basketball. But this is a bad interview off the rip. You start with what you called her for. Did you call her on your show to talk about Juju Watkins' injury as the first topic? That to me is just bad. That's just my opinion. We're talking WNBA. The WNBA season is starting literally in 6 weeks. She just finished Unrivaled, and you're sitting here talking about women's college basketball. You didn't ask her about Unrivaled. I haven't seen the whole video. We'll see.
She's a great player, and I mean, I think it would have been a great game. I think it would have been the two best players in college basketball right now going at each other, and to see them do that at this level right now, it would have been really fun to watch. Obviously, I have to pick my Huskies in that matchup, but it would have been a fun game.
Napheesa, do your friends or family, do they call you Fee, or do everybody address you as Napheesa?
He pronounced her name wrong. It's Napheesa. I mean, you invite people onto a show and you can't pronounce their name. That's fucking insulting. Can they? Shannon does better than this typically. Her name is Napheesa, not Napheesa. Don't add letters that don't exist. It's literally on the screen. Naphesa. Naphesa. There's no sha. It's sa, not sha. It's bad. And why does this matter? This is a stupid question. They had nothing to ask. Boring.
They call me Fee. My dad, well, my family calls me Napheesa, but everyone else calls me Fee.
Okay. When you sit back and being a great college player and being a great WNBA player, when you sit back, do you reminisce and think about your time playing in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, every year. I mean, especially just because every year they play that same video of Arike making that shot, and I'm the one she made it on in the Final Four, so I definitely get to reminisce on that. But just seeing the madness around and the magic around March Madness is so fun. So it definitely makes me a little bit nostalgic every time I watch. But I'm just here for all the great games, cheering on Huskies the whole time. Yeah, just here for a good time, honestly.
Napheesa, let me ask you this. I want to transition here. You were very vocal about a possible 2026 lockout for the WNBA players amid CBA negotiations. What's your biggest priority with those negotiations?
I have a question. Why is Molly Kiram asking questions? Why is Molly Kiram asking questions? She is the moderator for a debate program. Why is she asking these questions? First of all, she's biased as shit. She went to UConn herself, talking to a UConn player, but I don't know why she's even asking these questions. Let Stephen A do his job. That's literally what his job is.
No one wants a lockout. We but I think we have to stand firm in what we think we deserve in this new CBA. The atmosphere of women's sports is changing, and we think we need to get paid accordingly. And so we're definitely going in with that mindset where we don't want that to happen, but we are willing to do what it takes to get what we think we deserve.
How much of a position?
What do you think you deserve? What do you think you deserve? I would love for them to actually say, put on record publicly, what they think they deserve. You want to know why they won't? First of all, you had players that were talking Angel Reese and Dejanay Carrington on a podcast when they need to shut the hell up. But I know why you won't, because you seem to be the leader of this crew now. I'm not even sure anymore. I have no idea. But you're being interviewed about it a lot. And obviously, you're not going to say what y'all really want, because if you say it out loud, the public perception coming back will be that you're out of your goddamn mind, more than likely. You're out of your damn mind. The league has lost nothing but money for 28 years. So you get a deal with television to give you some more. You expand, add another team, and like, what do you think you're going to get? How much do you think you should get more? Just I wonder.
Is it a better position do you think you're in now as a collective body to receive what you want, Napheesa, compared to what you may have been, say, a year or 2 years ago?
I think we're in a great position. I mean, as you guys have seen, the sport is just exploding. I mean, you saw it with the viewership in the WNBA last year, with Unrivaled this year. Like, people are tuning in. And so I think we're in a really great position where we have all the leverage as players right now. We have the most leverage we've ever had as WNBA players, and we have to use it to our advantage. Like, the time for change is right now, and so we have to take advantage of it.
All right, I gotta stop it again. This is another example of utterly fucking stupid. You have more leverage than you've ever had. Yeah, you know why you had that. You have more leverage than you've ever had. We all know the name, Caitlin Clark. That's why. Your viewership completely skewed last year because of Caitlin Clark. Because otherwise, when she didn't play, your viewership went down from 2023. These are facts. I looked it up. I verified this. In fact, I verified this months ago. Months ago. You just talked about Unrivaled. Unrivaled. Nobody watched it. Like, you're sitting here lying on television. The ratings are the ratings. You don't like what the ratings look like. The ratings are the ratings. Your championship game on TNT did 260,000 viewers. You did less than some fucking cooking shows. You were the lowest rated TV programming on Sunday and Monday night in the semifinals and the finals. This is reality. This is not made up. I'm not making this up. Your highest rated programming for the entire season was a gimmick one-on-one basketball tournament. Had nothing to do with actual basketball. This is just lunacy. The things that come out of her mouth are lunacy. And she's speaking about things that don't fucking actually truly exist. And if you want to take it to another level, we can look at the college women's basketball ratings right now. They've gone down from last year already. There's been a 22% decrease in ratings from last year to this year. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Caitlin Clark ain't playing in that shit. That's why that is. Angel Reese ain't playing in that shit. That's why that is. The ratings have gone down. The men's games are breaking records this year. Remember the men that people were saying, when no one cares about the men's basketball? Men's college basketball ratings this year are higher than they've been in 32 years for the first two rounds. Let's continue.
How much is? I see a lot of you young ladies. You guys signed a 1-year deal, knowing that the CBA was going to be up, and now you started. We were co-founder of Unrivaled. How much do you think having Unrivaled, giving them someplace else to go, also helps you in these negotiations?
I think a lot. Having options is never a bad thing, right? And then also, it's going to be really crazy at Unrivaled next year with, I mean, I think it's like 80% of the league is off their contracts. Everyone but rookies are off their contracts. Plus, we have 2 new teams, so 2 expansion drafts as well. It's going to be like the Wild West out here. It's going to be crazy. And so the fact that, we are going through these negotiations with really like extreme things that, a lot different than the CBA that we had before. We're asking for a lot more. The fact that we have other options, I think, is is a great thing.
Ask you this about so Caitlin.
What are the other options? I'd love her to tell me. Does she really think that Unrivaled's an option? Unrivaled took 2 months. Are you going to run with Unrivaled for 6 months? Are you going to turn Unrivaled into a 5-on-5 league? If you do, you'll be broke in a year. If you do, you'll be broke in a year. The league will tank. It will not survive. That is reality. You really think that the league will survive? An unrivaled league will survive in a 5-on-5 setting. It will not. It can barely survive in a 3-on-3 setting in one location. And yeah, now they're tossing out that they're going to travel next year. We'll see. They said that they're going to do that this year. Again, we'll see. Prove it to me. Show me. Show me how you can draw in people taking this thing on the road. You're going to be building up gyms and arenas everywhere you go. That's an expense everywhere you go that you only had to do one time this year. You're going to do that shit 8 weeks, 8 weekends. You know how much money that costs? That's a cost a fortune. It sounds what options? Your options remain the same options you've had before. Take your ass to China, take your ass to Europe, take your ass to Russia. Those are your options. Australia. Those have been your options. Those were your options before. Those remain your options now. That's your option. But you know what also happens when you do that? People forget who the fuck you are. Nobody here is watching. Nobody here is watching basketball overseas. Nobody cares. There might be a few people. Sorry. I hate being absolute and then having the one, well, I care. Well, yeah, okay. How many Chinese basketball league games did you watch last year? How many Turkish basketball leagues did you watch? I'm sorry, this year. Like stop. If they go overseas and they say we have options, we're going to go play overseas, and we're not going to play here. Well, guess what? You have now made yourself invisible. Nobody knows who you are, and nobody cares. Like they really are overplaying their hand, and that's why I want to hear what the numbers really are that they want. They will not tell us because they know that the reply they will get in the world, well, in this country, will be, "Are y'all out y'all goddamn minds?" But let's continue. I think this is the question that I've seen that is just baffling.
Clark obviously has been a hot button topic on the show and took the WNBA by storm last year. Now her team is going to have 41 of their 44 games nationally televised, while the reigning champs, the Liberty, only have 32. Was this a fair move by the W?
I think it's two things. I mean, obviously people want to watch Caitlin play, and so you have to put the people on TV that people want to see. But at the same time, like there's stars all over the league, and you want good basketball as well. Obviously, Indiana, especially like with their free agents, they're gonna be a great team. But to not have the defending champs on TV more, I think it's kind of crazy. I mean, it doesn't have to be where you're taking games away from Indiana, but I think you can raise the level of TV games for the other teams as well.
Why?
She's another fucking idiot. See that's what this is why I don't like her no more. I don't like stupid people. I don't like people that don't have brains. And I'm guessing when she was at UConn, she didn't go to class. And yeah, I'm being very fucking condescending and hyperbolic right now. But what is the degree at UConn worth if she doesn't know basic mathematics? I watched Ben Daniels' video on this and I was dying laughing. And I'm thinking the exact same thing as he's saying it. And I even messaged him about it. And I'm sitting here saying, you're sitting here on first of all, you're sitting here on an ESPN, ABC platform, Disney platform. Molly Curran works for ESPN. She works for Disney. Indiana has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of those 41 games, 10 of them are on on ABC network, either ABC or ESPN. Molly Curran is asking her bosses why they chose to put Indiana on television. ESPN networks, ABC, ESPN, they are televising 26 WNBA games of those 26, 10 of them are Indiana Fever games. So again, Molly Qerim is questioning the decisions of her bosses, the decisions that help put money in the pocket of ESPN, the decisions that help put money in the pocket of ESPN, which in turn help put her money in her pocket as a personality on a television show on ESPN. Molly Qerim has to be a complete and utter buffoon. And it's just mind-blowing how she will talk against her own pocketbook. She will speak against her own well-being. She's an idiot. But on top of that, she's questioning her boss's decisions. That doesn't include obviously the NBA TV games, the Ion games, the CBS games, the Prime Video games. So there's all kinds of networks that involved this year that weren't involved last year. But at the end of the day, you are asking a question of a player, and this player responds with, well, we don't have to take away games from Indiana, but we can just give more games to somebody else. Like Ben Daniels said on his podcast, if there's 175 slots, when we run out of slots, we run out of slots. And if I give someone else a game, that means I have to take a game from someone else. Well, guess what, Napheesa? You know who's not going to have a game taken from them? Indiana. Because Indiana is the only guaranteed draw in the entire WNBA. There's no other guaranteed television draw in the WNBA. In fact, if you look at the games that are not being televised, which is mind-blowing to me, I would think that every single Indiana game should be televised. One of them is Atlanta on June 10th, maybe because they're moving that game to the Band-Aid box instead of playing that goddamn game in the State Farm Arena, like they should, as they are doing on May 22nd. So I guess, why waste 5 seconds of time on an empty, not an empty building, but a full closet, because that's what they're playing, is a closet. The Sparks on July 5th at 7, and then on July 30th against Phoenix. Those two games are home games for Indiana, and they will be available obviously on WNBA League Pass, for which, if you're a fan of the WNBA, you should buy and you should actually watch. It's not going to cost you more than $39.99 to watch hundreds of WNBA basketball games. But instead, no, what you're going to do is you're going to complain about the national television schedule. The national television schedule, which is what generates the money, generates the ratings, generates the viewers, which generates the money. So you're not going to take away games from Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. You're going to take away games from, I don't know, the Washington Mystics. I don't know, the Golden State Valkyries. I don't know, the Dallas Wings. I don't know, the Phoenix Mercury. I don't know, the Seattle Storm. You're taking games from everybody else except from Indiana. But clearly, mathematics was not taught at UConn. There's a line in the movie A Few Good Men when Tom Cruise tells Demi Moore, "Oh, I'm sorry, you must have been sick the day they taught law at law school." Napheesa Collier was sick for 4 years of math because she doesn't understand the most basic reasons for why you put the most marketable player on television. I mean, this isn't complicated. What the fuck does fair have to do with this, Molly Q? What does fair have to do? Life ain't fucking fair. I'm 5'10". It ain't fair. I wish I was 6'6". Oh, like what? Like, life ain't fucking fair. Like this mentality of fairness. What the heck? It ain't fair. Life ain't fair. You deal with what you get. You deal with what things you. I'm 5'10". I ain't playing professional sports. Not making millions of dollars. You know what I need to do? I need to use my brain. I need to use my mouth so I can speak, so I can sell, because I'm a salesman by day. Hell, having a podcast. I'm still selling because I want you to watch my podcast, don't I? Duh. Napheesa Collier doesn't have the most basic business sense, and she sits up here talking about collective bargaining, talking about leverage, and now talking about fairness and how they should give the New York Liberty more games. Well, take them away from somebody else then. She's so damn dumb that, I mean, this dumbness is painful, bro. I used to like Napheesa Collier, man. Every time she opens her mouth, though, I want to vomit. I want her to have someone to put scotch tape over her shit because she says stupid shit. This is stupid. And of course, it would be the instigator, Molly Qerim, who's now done not one, but two instigating ass questions to her UConn brethren. Like, get out of here, bro. Fair. Was it fair when Dejanay Carrington eye gouged fucking Caitlin Clark in the eye and a foul wasn't even called? Was that fair, Molly Q? No, it's just life. It's fucking life. It's part of the game. It happened. Should it have been called a foul? Absolutely. Was it called? No. In a perfect world, would you like to have everybody on national TV? Absolutely. In reality, it's impossible. The Los Angeles Lakers are on national TV 39 times this year in the NBA. They did not win the championship. In fact, they were the 7 seed last year. So is it fair to the other teams that were better than them last year? They're on TV more than the Boston Celtics, who won the championship. Are you asking Jason Tatum if it's fair that the Celtics are on TV less than the Lakers? Like, what are we talking about? Yo, this is just next level stupid. Next level stupid. Fair. It's fucking sports, man. It's a business. It's a business. Is it fair that Stephen A. Smith makes $100 million now, and there are people there that probably can't afford to rent a one-bedroom apartment who work at ESPN? Is that fair? Fucking ridiculous.
Is that an issue? I asked this question respectfully, Napheesa, because I remember in the 80s, for example, when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird took the NBA by storm and they were winning championships, competing for championships. But then this dude named Michael Jordan came along. And Michael Jordan came along and he wasn't yet winning championships, but his popularity was so astronomical that the NBA practically marketed everything they could around this guy. So to know that there's an example like that as a shining example to be followed that could benefit the league, particularly down the road, why is that an issue when we've seen that such a marketing plan has worked in the past?
I don't think it's an issue.
Here's the thing. That question was the best question I've heard Stephen A. Smith ask, and he kind of put it back on her ass. But here's the funny part about that. This girl wasn't even born when that happened. She has absolutely no fucking idea what he's talking about. I have not seen her answer. I saw the question on Ben Daniels. I have not seen the answer. I don't even know if you played the answer because I don't think the answer mattered. The question was poignant as hell, but this girl wasn't even born. She wasn't born yet when this happened. So she doesn't really have knowledge of it. But let's listen to her response.
I don't think it's an issue. I do think Caitlin's a star. And like I said, people want to see her, and we are trying to grow the league. Like, you need to put on TV.
I don't think it's an issue, but you just literally went on a fucking 60-second response about how the New York Liberty should get more games. So it is an issue. So it is an issue, but now it was an issue a second ago. Now it's not an issue. And now Caitlin's a star. Oh, at least you mentioned that Caitlin's a star. Oh, at least you mentioned Caitlin being a star for once. My God. She hasn't had the ability to mention her name in the past, though.
The players that people want to see. But kind of what I said before, I don't think raising the level of the other teams has to mean bringing down Caitlin or the Indiana Fever. They should have those amount of games on TV on primetime, but I think other teams should also have more than what they have.
Again, she just doubled down on stupid. They have 175 slots. Does she not know how many days are in a WNBA season? Let me give you a quick education on that. since most people probably do not know. So the season for the WNBA starts, I believe, like May 7th, between May 17th and 21st, something like that. Let me check real quick. The first preseason game is May 2nd. Today is March 26th. The first preseason game is May 2nd. All right. Let's go. Preseason goes until the the 16th. I think the 16th is when the season starts. Yeah, the 16th is the first regular season game. So the 16th. So you go from the 16th, and this thing goes all the way until regular season. I'm looking at regular season only. It don't even wait. 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. All right. The season ends on September 11th. September 11th are the last games of the season in the WNBA, regular season. So that means that you got 11, 42, 73, 103, 115, 103, 118 days. The season has 118 days. They have 175 game slots. 175 national televised game slots. That's more than the amount of days they have in the season. Is this resonating with folk? Where are they going to put the rest of these games? Like, what does she think? Does she think these networks only put on women's basketball? She doesn't know basic math. And who's people will watch the other team versus Caitlin Clark more than they'll watch the other team versus another team. People will learn more about the Mystics, the Mercury, the Wings, even the Lynx, the Liberty, the Sun, every single team. People will learn more about those teams. People who are not avid watchers of the WNBA of other teams will learn about those teams by watching Caitlin Clark play them and the Indian Fever play them. They will not learn about them watching them play somebody else because they're not going to watch it. Caitlin Clark being on national TV brings these women more notoriety and more exposure than any other way. And yet she doesn't get that.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Go Huskies, Napheesa. Are you feeling good? What do you think? Who most stands in
Should
the
be
way?
feeling good now. Juju got hurt.
Hanging another banner. What do we think?
I do feel good. I mean, even the game that Paige played yesterday in the Huskies, I know they played South Dakota, but Paige was super aggressive in how she was playing. Like, she scored at every level. I don't think there was, I mean, we saw her entire wheelhouse. It was awesome to watch. So I feel really good going to the tournament for them. We got to get another championship. It's been a while.
Absolutely. Napheesa, you are fantastic. I know you're a very busy woman, but if you ever have time, please come join us again, and all the best to you and all your endeavors.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You've got to be kidding me. So you're telling me in this interview, you didn't ask you didn't ask the woman who founded Unrivaled anything about Unrivaled. You asked her nothing about it. When you talk about being unprepared for an interview, that was an example of completely unprepared for an interview. They had no idea what they're talking about. They know nothing. You got 3 people up there that don't know nothing. They don't know a damn thing about what they're actually talking about. Napheesa Collier confirmed she's a moron. I hate to put it that way. She confirmed she is a moron. It's better to let people think you're dumb than to confirm it, in my opinion. She has confirmed it now twice. She doesn't know math. She doesn't know basic business. She doesn't know how paychecks are come up with. What does she actually know? Look, I congratulate you. You created a basketball league. How long that league lasts, I have no idea. This seems to me like the perfect opportunity to tell people about what the plans are for next year with Unrivaled. You would think. But they didn't do that. Why wouldn't they do that? I don't get it. And yeah, Napheesa Collier is a vice president of the one of the vice presidents of the WNBPA. So I presume she is in all these meetings that they are having. But you've got to somehow explain to me why she's not being asked about what she just finished, what she just created. Why wasn't she asked about what happened in her semifinal game? Why? And then you lead off with Juju Watkins. But again, the reality is this: she doesn't know shit about shit. She doesn't know shit about business, and she's proving it when she responds like this. She doesn't know basic math. And I'm getting more and more irritated every time I listen to her speak because it sounds like someone who's utterly fucking clueless. She sounds like someone who's utterly fucking clueless. You let me know your thoughts. Do you think she's a dumbass, or do you think she's choosing to be a dumbass? You let me know. Is she choosing to? Does she hate Caitlin Clark that much, or like everybody else seems to, like all these other players do, but they say it with their chest, and she says it on the slide? Or is she just a big ass fucking dummy and choosing to be a dummy? I don't even know anymore. You give me your opinion. I want to hear what you got to say in the comments. Leave a comment. This is Rudy's Rant. Her way, her game, her way. Women's basketball podcast. Come on now.